Hey YouTube, how's it going? Mark here with another top 10 list. Now this year I'm going to do a little something different for my spring list. Last year I did designer and niche fragrances all together in one list for one top 10 list. This year I like to do two different lists, one designer, one niche. This one of course is niche. So this one is my top 10 spring fragrances 2011 for niche. Now last year the big winner was of course Green Irish Tweed. Killed the competition. Definitely no one was surviving after Green Irish Tweed was in the list. That is the #1 fragrance last year for spring for me. Now Green Irish Tweed is still in the list. It's still in my top 10. But can it hang on to #1 against 9 other niche fragrances? Now he's going against a lot of fragrances that are around the same price range as far as ingredients, same type of quality. So we're going to see if GIT can hold on to the #1 spot. Now before I get to the top 10, spring, what is the definition of spring in my eyes? Because it might be different in your country than my country, and that could be different as far as picking your top 10 fragrances. So for me, the start of spring, the way it works in my country or in my area of my country, is you still have snow patches here and there. There's still snow on the ground. The grass is still dead. There's no flowers blooming. That's the start of spring. Very cold. Then the sun starts coming out more and more, warms it up, snow's gone. We get a little bit of rain, and then of course the grass starts getting green, flowers starting to bloom, the birds are back, everything's good. But as far as spring goes, you never know what you can get as far as weather goes. You might have rain one day, it might be cool in the morning and at night, and it might be warm in the middle of the day. So you're getting a lot of changes. So fragrances, you don't want to go too heavy, but you don't want to go too light either. So for spring, for me in Canada, I go kind of in the middle. The guys that can be very versatile fragrances. A lot of people around my area start off wearing their citrus-based fragrances March. Then they rock those right until like September, October. That's a lot. I'm not going to spend half my year wearing just citrus-based fragrances. I think that's boring. So for me, spring is kind of the way that I try to change myself from the rest. Try to be a little more interesting with my fragrances. Try to be cooling, but not by wearing citrus-based fragrances, because I'm going to wear those in the summer mainly. So I'll wear fragrances that smell like cut green grass, leafy, watery a little bit. You're going to see some florals in here. You're going to see a little bit of woods, not too much. And so you're going to see a little bit of everything in this top 10 list, especially in the niche side of things. So let's get to it. Enough blabbing. Let's get to my top 10. Number 10 is from a house that's going to do really well in this top 10. That's the House of Creed. They have 3 fragrances in the top 10. This is the one of the 3. This one's called Himalaya. Now, I did a full review on Himalaya. If you haven't seen that, go to my channel, check it out. Himalaya, number 10. Now this fragrance, let me have a sniff here. It's almost an airy, soapy vibe to it. Very versatile, and that's great for spring. It reminds me of being on a mountaintop in the springtime. I know a lot of people say Silver Mountain Water reminds them of that from the Creed brand, but Himalaya also does that. Great daily wear scent in the office, at school. Daily wear, spring, Himalaya, you can't go wrong. Number 10. Number 9 is actually an Artisan Parfumeur fragrance, and this one is one of my favorites from this brand, and this is of course Tea for Two, tea-based fragrance, of course. This is of course one of the best authentic tea-based fragrances on the market. Now this one, you got to be careful. This is a thick tea note. Now you think Gucci Pour Homme 2 is much more versatile than this stuff because it's much lighter. This is thicker. So it's great for a cool spring day. This would be great for those days that we have overcast, that the rain's coming. It's going to be a little cooler out. This is great for that. If you're in an air-conditioned classroom, office, this is great for that. Good for a night out. Tea-based fragrances, always calming, soothing. Every time I wear these, I feel like I pay more attention. Tea for Two, number 9. Number 8 is going to be a rose-based fragrance, and everybody is going to say, ah, he's going to name Rose 31. Wrong. It's different. It's actually the different companies, Rose Poivre. Now, in the name, of course, says it all. Peppered rose is exactly what I get from this. Now, very authentic rose pepper blend. Very well done. I like a little bit of floral in the spring. This is where I can really pull off my florals in the spring. And this one, of course, heavy rose in here. It's got a little edge to it with the pepper and the spice, so I really enjoy this one in the spring. And this is, of course, my number 8 fragrance. Number 7 is Bond number 9, and this one's called Riverside Drive. I haven't used too much of Riverside Drive. This is, of course, another Maurice Roussel Bond fragrance. He, of course, did a New Harlem. Beautiful green, almost leafy-based fragrance. It has some qualities that I can detect from other scents. So overall, it's not really that unique from other fragrances around this time. I really felt that this one took a little from many fragrances, and it was blended well together for Riverside Drive. Almost watery, with some floral into it, and number 7, great for spring. Number 6 is going to be a sweet fragrance. Usually sweet fragrances aren't very good in the heat. This is basically the end of it. You know, the cool spring days, I will be wearing this. And this is an amouage fragrance. Now, amouage are known for their winter and fall fragrances. They're great for that. Bar none, amouage kicks ass in the winter. In the spring, I like to extend the life of this one, Reflection Man. A very sweet fragrance. It's got almost a woody floral jasmine hit to it. This stuff is unique, and I think most people that enjoy sweet fragrances will really want to sniff this one out. This is like a quality sweet-based fragrance. You know, a lot of designer fragrances have that synthetic sweetness, a little too much. This one, very well done, and that is, of course, numero 6. Number 5 is going to go back to the Bond number 9 genre, and this is, of course, Brooklyn. And this one is one of my favorites for a reason, almost all season. Brooklyn, woods, citrus meeting together in a great blend. Brooklyn keeps impressing me every time I wear it. Versatile, office, night out, why not? Beautiful, a true winner, and I think definitely spring is a good time to wear Brooklyn. Number 4. Number 4 is a diptyque fragrance. This one, of course, called Filosa Coast. Now, Filosa Coast is a fig-based fragrance. One of the best on the market today, if not the best. Fig-based fragrances, for the most part, are very watery, cooling, a great different fragrance for a cooling vibe. I really like to be unique. A fig-based fragrance will do that for you. Absolutely, definitely the definition of spring right here. Can easily be number 1 on anybody's list, but for me, number 4. Number 3, let's take a look at the second creed on this list. This is going to be Silver Mountain Water, number 3. Silver Mountain Water, I like this one compared to Himalaya a little more in the spring. Has a milky tea note, some floral in there. It's clean, almost airy. Just simply amazing for the spring, and the reason why this is number 3 and Himalaya is number 10 is because Silver Mountain Water gives me a little more on my skin than Himalaya can. So the same type of vibe, but this one a little more, which gives me the number 3 spot. Number 2. Number 2 is a mint-based fragrance. Mint is great for spring, and this is, of course, Healy's Mount Fresh. Mint. Mint and spring just go hand in hand. I wear mint sometimes in the summer, but I really feel that spring is the best time to bring out your mint-based fragrances. You can't go wrong with a mint-based fragrance in the spring. Mount Fresh is one of the best in the mint game, and it's number 2 for good reason. So number 1, my number 1 niche fragrance for spring 2011 is again Creed Green Irish Tweed. You just can't beat it. It's number 1 for a reason, 2 years in a row, And the king of green is going to stay on top for spring. This is, anybody that owns a bottle of this stuff knows what I'm talking about. This kills everything in the springtime. It's just absolutely amazing on a beautiful spring day. Green Irish tweed, rain, no rain, doesn't matter. This thing is going to work for you in the spring. And this is my #1 spring niche fragrance for 2011. Thanks for watching, guys. Definitely, I will be sending out my top 10 designer spring fragrances for 2011 in the near future, so definitely check out that video once I do release it. Thanks for watching.